Welcome to AI Lesson 4. You see that we have a lot to work with, so let's get started. One of the first things you need to do is File, Save As. Make sure it gets in your Documents folder, Graphic Design 2, and I changed mine to say L4 Happy Camper. I can then hit Save, and then also click OK on anything that pops up after that. I already have it saved, so I'm good to go. The second thing you want to do when starting this lesson is go up to Window here, go to Workspace, and either make sure you're on Essentials, and if you are on Essentials, you want to hit Reset Essentials to make sure that our workspaces are the same. The next thing we'll have you do is go up to this artboard right here, click on something, and then hit View, Artboard, and Window. We're going to start by learning how to edit shapes, and especially paths. The first tool we're going to grab is underneath the eraser tool. Let me zoom in here so you can see it. And it's called the scissor tool. I'm going to use the scissor tool to click on part of the path. So as soon as it says path or intersect, you can hit click. And notice that another vertices has popped up. I'm going to grab my direct select tool, and I can now grab that anchor that I created, and I can now move them. Now let's say I want to now rejoin the path. I can grab my selection tool, my normal selection tool, click on the whole path, and over here in the quick actions, there's a join button. Pressing the join button will automatically join your path. Now the next thing that we're going to do is fix the stroke a little bit. So we're going to click on stroke, give it no stroke, click on fill, and then fill it the same color as this guy here. They don't have to look exactly alike, but you can kind of see how it's going here. You'll notice that in each one of these there's a start and a final, so you're working on making your way into what this looks like. So now we're going to drag across all of these shapes, and in our quick actions we're going to make sure we group them. So now they're one group. So next, that was the scissors tool. And the scissors tool splits the path at an anchor point or a line segment to create an open path. The knife tool is a little different. The knife tool, you can drag across a whole shape, and instead of creating open paths, you end up with two closed paths. So let's start that right here. So we're going to go to Artboard 3, and we're going to create what we see on the final. We're going to grab our selection tool, and we're going to select this pink oval here. Now, if the object is selected, the knife tool will only cut that object. If nothing is selected, then the knife tool is going to cut everything it sees. So, we're going to go click Edit Toolbar at the bottom of the Illustrator file here. And we are going to find the knife tool. It's a very handy dandy tool. There it is. And we're going to drag that onto the scissors tool because they really belong together. So now when you click and hold there, you see all three of them. We can click those three dots at the bottom there, or hit the escape key to get out of that. Now with the knife tool now selected in the toolbar, we're going to move the knife pointer to the left of the selected shape and drag across the shape to cut in two. Bam! Ta-da! We now have two separate shapes. They're not open paths. I can change the fill of this one to be a much lighter pink. Drag this guy down, select, and group. Bam! I think that looks like a bobber, but I'm not actually sure what this is going to end up looking like. So let's Command S or Control S and file save. Next, we'll cut the artwork with a straight line using the knife tool. So we are going to go to Artboard 3. Or Artboard 4, I'm sorry. And we're going to make sure we're viewing that whole artboard in our window. We're going to grab the selection tool, grab the middle of this tent here, and then zoom in a little bit so that we're really focused on the tent. So now to cut a shape using a very direct straight line, I'm going to grab that knife tool with this shape still selected so we don't cut anything else. And we're going to either hold down Option Shift or Alt Shift and drag down. So I'm going to press Caps Lock to turn my knife into crosshairs first. That will make it easier to use. Zoom in for you. And now that Caps Lock is on and this is crosshairs, I'm going to start cutting. So you notice it's squiggly, but if I hit Command Z, if I hold down Shift and Option or Shift and Alt, I can draw a straight line. Let's do this. Perfect. And that's a very straight line at a 90 degree. If I let go of the Shift key and just hold down Alt or Option instead, I'm just going to draw a straight line. So this can help us get a little bit more of a cut. So now it kind of looks like we have that tent. We have those three shapes now that were once one. I'm going to click on the middle one and change the fill to that gold that you see in your fill color schemes. Now it looks like the tent is open. So we're going to then make sure we select all of these shapes, group them, and now we're going to move on to the next shape. So make sure you file, save, Command S, Control S. Let's go to artboard number 5. We're going to choose this artboard, and what we're going to do is we're going to outline strokes, and I'll explain. Outlining strokes converts it to a closed path or a compound path. And there's many reasons to outline your strokes. We're going to outline our strokes so that we can erase part of our next selection. So I'm going to grab this stroke here. It's actually just a line with a stroke. And I'm going to move it down into here. And I am going to do Object, Path, Outline Stroke. Object, Path, Outline Stroke. And now that stroke has gone into a full rectangle. So next we'll be able to easily erase parts. We're going to do this using the eraser tool that we found earlier, hidden under with the knife and the scissors tool. Make sure your object is selected so we only erase part of that object. The eraser tool lets you erase any area of your vector artwork. So we're going to then double click the eraser tool to get some eraser tool options. And we're going to make sure the size is at 20 points. And then click OK. You can change the eraser tool properties depending on what your needs are at any time. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to kind of erase both sides so it looks, this requires some practice, maybe some more sleep, but erase it so it kind of looks like that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to select and hit Group. You could also use the Create Shapes tool because this is all one. And you could very carefully make this less than one shape by drawing in. So let's Command S, File Save, Control S. And now we're going to erase in a straight line. Let's go to our next artboard. My computer, I believe, is still combining the shapes, so it's going to take a second.